Hey, folks, what is going on? Justin Masson, Jesse Waldeck, Timothy Off. We are at the end of day one for us here at PAX East. This is Friday. And so we thought we'd just do kind of like a round the horn conversation about what we've played because we got to PAX and then we all went separate directions and played lots of different games. And so kind of just using this time kind of as a bonus episode for us to share with you what we've been playing, what we think you should look out for, kind of our experience in general, maybe who we bumped into, who we met. Yeah. So who wants to kind of kick us off?
I think you should actually, because we kind of got to play together.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll kick us off.
Yeah.
So one of the first games that we had together was a game called Pizza Bandit. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Nice and close. Pizza Bandit. And it was funny because this came through our PR into our inbox a couple of months ago, and it said, do you like Overcooked and do you like Gears of War and would you be interested in free pizza? And I think if you're going to try and get my attention, you did that really well.
You had me
Those
pizza.
those are all three of my favorite things. And so we got to sit down with the developer and play. And so essentially, it is the best way I can describe it is, and I'm going to use again Gears of War and Overcooked as the example. You are in a post-apocalyptic world. You are very much sort of these space marine, big muscular figures, and your objective is to fill pizza orders. Well, your area, your base, your kind of like king of the hill area is being flooded by a horde of beasts. So you've literally got this juxtaposition of these monsters, these kind of brooding orc things that are coming up the stairs. You've got these big rail guns that you're shooting with, and you have a pizza cutter as a melee weapon. And they're definitely going for I wouldn't say a realistic look, like it's not cartoony, but it's more realistic from a Gears of War perspective. I think you need to flip it down, maybe no, like turn it and go like this way.
Oh,
Yeah, now we're just playing with microphones essentially.
I've never had a mouth.
With then having like this, you literally have orders that come into your kitchen, and so you need to get together. You need to get a pizza, and you need to go get the cheese for the pizza and the pepperoni for the pizza and the mushrooms and put it on your pizza. And you need to go put it in the pizza oven, and you can't let it overcook and burn, because if that happens, then you have to throw it out and you have to bring that down the trash can. But then if it does cook, you need to basically put these in these pods.
Yes.
These are like almost as if you're creating like to-go orders.
Yes.
And so in these space pods that you're
Beer,
sending out,
pops,
beer, pops,
yeah.
bullets, and
Bullet.
pizza.
Yes.
And so that's your objective. You are looking to accomplish these orders as they're coming in while you're defending it. And it was the four of us playing together as a group, and it was an absolute blast. Yeah. Like we were just yelling at each other, having a great time. There was friendly fire. You could shoot each other.
I didn't realize that either, too, so
which I realized I don't care who's in front of me. I just shoot. And so there was a lot of kill and shoot of other
Someone's
people.
moving.
Yeah. So I thought that was an absolute blast. Like that was a highlight for me for sure. And Tim, you were on deck as part of a partner in this as well. So what'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I don't usually get into. I don't feel like I do well with the first-person shooter type games, and they threw me on a keyboard and mouse too because they ran out of controllers.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there doing, the W as what at WASD.
WASD.
Yeah.
But
I remember saying WASD once in the show, and no one knew what I was talking about.
It went over my head, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I actually broke the game. We had to kind of reboot it and start over.
That was right. Yeah,
because I hit the dodge button, and it with a pack of beer I was carrying, and apparently the game was like, you can't dodge with a pack of beer.
Yeah.
But then they were like, you're supposed to be able to. That's weird. So yeah, they handled that very well.
Yeah.
Because they said I was the first time they've seen that. It's like, yep, that's me. I do this for a living.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put a QA guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was fun for us because my two kids and the two of us got to play together as a team, and we all learned. We just got thrown into it too.
Yeah.
There's no tutorials or anything like that and we didn't have any jobs set up to say,
Yeah.
you do the pizzas, you
it,
guard the
it,
tower.
it became abundantly clear that we had no strategy
We had
very
no
quickly.
strategy.
And I think if we played a second round, I think we would have actually
think we
built a
would've-
strategy because we
yeah.
really started to understand what was going on. You understand like where all the pieces are that you need
Yeah.
to grab stuff. But it was a ton of fun. They did confirm it coming to the Switch, as I recall, right during the conversation.
Consoles next
Consoles
year.
next year, but definitely they'd like it on the Switch.
Yes.
So I think that was ton of fun. Oh, they also mentioned crossplay.
Yes.
So they want the crossplay, which
With
is
all
a
the
huge thing,
consoles and the
consoles as
PCs,
well.
yeah.
So yeah, that was an absolute blast. I would highly recommend
Sure.
Pizza Bandit. Jesse, what about you? What did you get into?
The first, I just started wandering around at first just to see what was out there. If I saw a booth with a line, I avoided it.
Yep.
And the first thing I actually stumbled across that I played was a board game called By the Vote, and it's okay. Thank you, Tim.
We're real formal here today.
Yeah.
Just throwing cards near the camera.
Yep. There you go.
So basically, you start off with $10 million, and there are 4 states to choose from. Then you have to put in a bid and how much money you want to spend. And note that $10 million is for 3 rounds, so allocate your funds accordingly. And then when everyone puts their bids for each state, and whoever bids the highest gets that state and their corresponding electoral votes. If no one bids on it or there's a tie, then no one wins it. And then go on, and then it goes on to the next round. Now with 5 states, then 6 states, then 7 states. So there's each round increases the number of states. Every 3 rounds, you get a new influx of cash, and so there's strategy in what you think other people might do. What you don't want to run out of money too soon. And some states are red, some states are blue. They're basically just literally points. But some states are swing states. They're marked as a yellow card. If you win a yellow card, then you're able to steal a state off of an opponent. And of course, I won Texas and then lost Texas to a swing state.
Yeah.
So Texas and California being the 2 biggest ones. So may not be a game for everybody. I enjoyed it.
And it was a board game.
Yeah, board game, card game. Yeah, not a computer game. The second thing I stumbled across, this wasn't even in a booth. This was just kind of in the free tables. Anyone could set anything up at any time. It was a card game called Hold'em Havoc. It's basically Texas Hold'em. I talked about All in Abyss, which Texas Hold'em with abilities. That's what this is. Texas Hold'em with abilities. Each suit has a special power. Like the swords lets me take out a community card, and then if an opponent wants to block it, they have to also play a sword or discard one of their whole cards, leaving them with only one whole card left, which could get you at a disadvantage really fast. One of the suits, I think it was a chalice, I don't remember exactly, lets you decrease the rank of the card by 1. So after one of the rounds of play, and you play it by revealing it, so it's still yours as a whole card, but you just end up showing everyone, hey, I have a jack, or whatever the card is. So this one lets me downgrade a jack to a 10, but there was a 10 in the river, giving me a pair of 10s, so I won the hand. So there's definitely hold them with power.
That sounds like fun.
And this is not a computer game. This was a real deck of cards. He said he's only done 1 printing so far, and it's sold out, and he wants to do another one. So I gave him my contact information. So if he does another printing, hopefully he gets in contact with me, and I'm interested in buying a deck. It's just a deck of cards. You can probably do the same thing with a normal deck of cards. Just say hearts do this, spades do this, and whatnot. So it's nothing special. It's just a deck of cards.
That's cool.
Then the one thing I did that is coming to Switch, I had a booth, or I had an appointment with Limited Run Games
Mm-hmm.
to demo the new Shantae's Risky's Revolution. And while I was there, I actually uh, met Jeremy Parrish. He's hanging out in that booth too. He's doing. If I wanted to buy a book, he would have signed it, but I wasn't really interested in buying a book. Not this time.
Yeah.
Apparently tomorrow the creators of Shantae will be there to sign autographs
nice.
as well. I'm not sure. I don't know. Even I couldn't even tell you who their names were. So I'm not. I'm not interested in getting an autograph from them. But the demo they had for the Shantae game, this is basically looks like a GBA game in graphics. So playing on a 24-inch display is very large.
Yeah.
They had three levels available to play. I played two of them. The third one is multiplayer map, or like a battle game. So I didn't play that. The first one had like the layer concept. You can jump back into a back layer at certain points and jump back into the forward layer. And when you're in the creatures or you in the back layer are just kind of muted in color, and it's really sometimes it's hard to tell if it's something's in the background or the foreground. And they don't really shrink much. They're still large. They're still pretty large sprites. I think this would have worked better if they zoomed things out a little bit. And definitely it popped more when they did things like this on the 3DS. I really didn't like that level in that one. Then the second stage was more of a labyrinth. There's a lot of locked doors, so multiple paths you follow. I was I did like that level more. I was able to get like two doors unlocked. I don't know how large the level got. I got to a mini boss and died, and that ended the demo.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
wanted, I could have started it again, but I'd be starting it from ground zero. I'm like, I think I'm good here.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to the game. Hopefully the multi-layer levels aren't going to bring things down much, but for me, but I'm still I'm not going to get it physically. I'm waiting for it to come out digitally. Apparently, it's already out physically. I saw people already with their carts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or maybe it was a repo card and not really. I don't know if it's actually a functional card or not.
Oh.
But 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 yeah. So that I'm not sure when that game is supposed to come out. It's supposed, other than sometime this year.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Tim.
I think that wraps it up for me.
Tim.
First stop actually was the Genki booth.
Mm.
We got to stop there. So
we had a great conversation with
you actually beat us there, and because you were ahead of us at a couple booths. Actually, it was kind of funny, but we got to stop there and check out some of the accessories that are coming out for the glitch too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. There was a couple things that I had my eye on, and it was suggested to me that maybe I check it out while we were here. And the couple of the accessories I was looking at was like the Force Field 2, and which is a case that goes around the back of the Switch 2, and you can put in where the controllers go some games if you want to carry a couple extra of the cartridge games in there. But it also has a secondary cover that when you want to put it in the bag, you can put it on top of the Switch 2 to keep it secure. But you can take it off and then just have, it has like a slight grip feel to it. And I liked that, so I'll probably be ordering that. But it also has a MagSafe feature on these cases as well as other cases to where you can put MagSafe devices on the back of it. For example, they have their own energy pack that you can slap on the back of the thing and connect it to the top USB-C plug.
Yeah, and they were saying with that they're quoting like an extra 6 to 17 hours
Yes.
based on a full charge, which
Yeah.
is
Wow.
which is quite impressive for sure.
For sure. Yeah, and that is really nice to be able to attach it to the back of the
Question is,
device.
how much weight does that add, and is it being on the back? How balanced will that feel?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great question.
It is a good question, and I imagine there will be some weight there, for sure. But the other thing that I was more interested that I got to talk to them about was they have, I forget they call the actual device, but it's a device that they've rolled out for Steam Decks and Windows Live handhelds, where you can put an M2 card in it and attach it to them, so you can dual boot it between the opposite OS than what you have on your device to be able to boot other games on it. So it's like 2 terabytes in the inside this
So
little
you can choose
attachment.
between the default Steam OS
Yes,
or Windows boot.
yes. But I was talking to them about the possibility of Nintendo unlocking the ability to use external memory
Yeah.
for saving games, possibly, and that would allow you to use an M2 externally, because then that little device also uses the MagSafe ability to attach to the back.
Right.
So we all know how that might not work out with Nintendo, but
Yeah.
there's a little slight hope for that.
I think the only system Nintendo's given the green light to that was the Wii U.
The Wii and the Wii U, they
Yeah.
both used
Yeah.
external, because I was able to do it.
I
On
think
the Wii.
only officially only for Dragon Quest X.
Okay.
You know, if
I thought I
think
carried over what we had for the Wii external hard drive over to our Wii U, but I could be wrong.
that wasn't a stock
Okay.
option.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
Could be.
All right, but anyways, that was they have a sleeper case. I think you were looking
Yeah,
at.
yeah. I got my hands on the. So I mean, kudos to we got there very very quickly.
Yeah.
Had a great conversation with Eddie, the CEO, and obviously they are right now in a little bit of hot water with Nintendo, right?
Yes.
That we talked about on the podcast this
Yes.
week, 27-page legal filings.
Yes.
And what they very clearly have, and I suspect very shortly following this, was signs on every single basically piece of what they're calling the Glitch 2
Yes.
software,
Yeah.
not Switch 2, but Glitch 2, that says we are not directly affiliated with Nintendo or this kind of stuff. So definitely some CYA, if you would,
Yeah.
in regards to it. And I would say having conversations with Eddie was very clear to me that like, and I heard him say it, like part of his statement was like, well, we don't know the specs. Like we don't like,
Yeah.
so there was it felt like a little bit of a walk back, I think, from some of the things that we may have heard from CES or whatever was going
Right.
on there. But
Yeah.
it was very clear, like, kind of mindfully walking that line, I think that they're probably in. I would say in regards to the sleeper case was something that I had kind of had my eye on before.
Yes.
And on the website, it looks like it has a very, excuse me, low profile and sort of like it looked, if I'm being honest, it looked soft,
Mhm.
right? And I was like, I don't know if I want to put my Switch 2 in that thing, but it's hard.
It's a hard
It's
case,
a hard
yeah.
case,
Mhm.
and it's got some real, it's when you open up, there's an angle,
Yes.
and so it's easier to get the console out when you want it. It's got 15 spots to hold games, and it doesn't look ugly, right?
No,
It's a
very
very clean
stylish.
case.
Yeah,
It's a very
clean.
nice case. And I don't know about you, but I'm still using the same Switch 1 case from 2017
Mhm.
that was sent to us from Snakebite. So I'm like,
Yeah.
go well on a good case now, right? Because I think when you talk about Nintendo Switch accessories, a good case and a good screen protector are like, you don't think about it, but that's like 1 and 2 of the top priorities that you should be getting.
Yes.
And I love Genki products, and so I will likely be ordering one for myself as well. But great chatting with the folks over at Genki for sure.
Yes. That was a lot of fun to be able to talk to them, and then right a few booths down was AverMedia, where we both stopped as well, which is kind of funny. We were talking about our experiences with our current AverMedia devices that we use for capturing gameplay, that we still use.
Mhm.
And I was talking to them about that, and they were telling me like, "Oh yeah, this guy stopped by and said he's been using his for 8 years." And
Yeah,
it
turns
happened
out
to
it was
be
me. I
it
had
was
been there.
Justin.
I'd been there about 10 minutes before Timmy got there, actually. So
So,
it's
but
great.
they have some really cool devices. One that you pointed out to me that I didn't catch was the
Elite Go.
Elite Go, where it has kind of like both the um, just the like kind of like Genki's, what was
Covert
it, the
dock.
Go Covert Dock 2 type of thing, but this also has the ability to capture stuff,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly it. Like more organizations, more companies trying to find themselves into this space,
Yeah,
right? And Aver Media, I think when you think of like the big streamers, Elgato is sort of the one that we always go to, right?
yeah,
But like Aver Media and Chorus Art or Course Art is
yeah,
another one that's sort of in that secondary third tier.
right,
But yeah, Aver Media, we've used them. Like I said, you and I have been using them for almost 10
yep,
years and for great capture stuff. So yeah.
yeah. So and even looking at this stuff now, I didn't say it to them, but I was like, I don't really need to upgrade unless I go 4K. But then I had gone with the Genki one that they were doing the Kickstarter for. But
Yeah.
anyways, it was still fun to talk to AverMedia. They do have another one thing that interests me, which is their Extra Go
Hmm.
um, capture card system that's supposed to work with a lot of the handhelds, not just the Switch, but all the others.
Yeah.
So I was kind of eyeballing that too. But
Nice.
lots of cool device stuff. But another game that I got to sit and look at was Demon School by, I want to say, Wise Bride Games.
Mm.
Uh, I got to go talk to them about their game. And Demon School is a tactical game that their inspiration is actually Persona. I found out one
Okay.
and
Nice.
two was inspired them because they use like the week system instead of like chapters or anything like that, like a calendar system. I mean, to track, how much
Okay.
time you're spending in the game. Um,
I thought you originally were talking about like a strength weakness type of thing when you said weak, but no, you're talking about a calendar.
it's a calendar. I mean, yeah, the calendar system for how long the game is. Because I was asking, how long is this game? As it goes by chapters or whatever they go. Oh, it's by the calendar, by weeks, and all that kind of stuff. So, but they said that the Persona 1 and 2 was an inspiration for a lot of that in this game. But it's again a tactics game where you are defending the world. I didn't understand quite the story just yet, but you go to demon school to protect your world from demons, or you yourself use demon powers or something
Sounds
like
like
that.
a Shimatami
Yeah.
spin-off game.
So, but it's again tactics, but one of the things that really set it apart from other tactics games for me, at least that I'm used to, is that you get to see your moves first before you set them into play. You get to see what happens when you make your moves, to see how it plays out, and then then if everything plays the way you think it should go, you hit activate, and then you get to see all these moves take place. And then the bad guys get to go, and then something you may not have seen, you might get some damage or something may happen that you weren't expecting, but then you go your next turn, or before you hit the activate your moves, you get to play out what you think you can do. But then if you see something you didn't like, there's actually a rewind feature that allows you to rewind, and there's no penalty as far as I can see to that. Where you can rewind, redo as many times as you want, and then start the game over, or not start the game over, but go ahead and activate that run, and then you're going through it. So there's a lot more. The Demon School is out. They have a demo for um, Steam, so you can get it out there. And this will be coming to consoles, including the Switch, this summer, from what I was told. Uh, I was waiting a long time to get my chance with Demon School, and so while I was there, I was also watching the next computer over, same company, Wise Bride Games. They were showing off another game called Ever Deep Aurora. Uh, yeah, Aurora. So, and I thought this was kind of cool, the art on there. But it has a Game Boy aesthetic, kind of like
Oh,
where, or maybe even a DS. But they
Yeah,
said
I would say this is more DS.
the inspiration for this game is actually Steam World Dig, because you're digging down and trying to what does it say? A feline child who awakens to find her mother missing, drill downward from the surface layer through a tile-based underground and discover the Everdeep.
Yes, that old chestnut.
Yes, that story, you know. So, but here's some of the
As you do.
things there.
Yeah.
You can see the game, how it looks, but pause it if you want to take a deeper look at that.
Right.
Some of these companies did give us some like press kits type stuff.
Yeah,
So if we can, we'll try to do maybe more deeper dive into some of this stuff. But it's kind of some of the quick things that came to mind. And plus, Victaris in our group in our Discord, he got to see just shapes and beats, and my kids and I actually stopped and watched them play this game, and it's coming out for the Switch as well, by Berserk Studio. Again, just shapes and beats coming out. Not sure when, it doesn't say, but it's
I thought that already was out.
maybe it is. But it's a rhythm-based game, and when it caught the attention of everybody, there's a lot of people watching people play, and especially when people were playing the Mortal Kombat song from the very first movie. You just hear this Mortal Kombat, and everybody's just playing the rhythm-based game. So it was a lot of fun to watch these. Not even this, but a lot of other people playing around and just seeing crowds get around certain games that caught their attention. So what else caught your attention?
Yeah, there's a couple games that I'll play just quickly, like speed run them, that I'll call out Swap Meet, which was sort of a it's right here actually. Yeah, I got a card for it, and they call this a meat rag because it's a shoulder thing, and they gave me a T-shirt, so they were really buttering me up. It's a little bit like Risk of Rain, has definitely that reminder of it. Set, I would say, sort of in a Rick and Morty sort of color palette, a little bit of High on Life color palette of those bright oranges, greens, and blues. And the idea being is that as you are destroying enemies, you take pieces of them and you put it on yourself, like you're swapping pieces. So swapping like legs, heads, arms, swap meat. And then as you're fighting other creatures and they're doing damage to you, you lose these pieces, right? So at one point I was like big bulking because I've added all these pieces, and then I just got whooped, and all of a sudden now I'm this little piece of meat running around with like a gun. And that was a ton of fun actually. Lots of fun there. The other one I'll call out as well. Where is it? There it is. Royalty free for all. So royalty free for all is a Smash like game. It is desiring to be Super Smash Brothers, but they're using royalty free characters.
Yeah.
So like characters that and they're going to send us some B-roll, which would be great to share as well. But like Lancelot, right? Royalty free. What was it? Loch Ness Monster is a royalty free character.
Probably like a Yeti or something.
You know what? I said that to him. I was like, listen, if you do Loch Ness Monster, like you're going from fictional characters or characters like Lancelot and Sweeney Todd and Oliver Twist, to the Loch Ness Monster. I was like, some of these are literature, and one of them is sort of fictional. I was like, so are we going to see a Sasquatch or a Yeti soon? And he's like, I have no comment. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. I see what's going on there. It's like, but I think the really cool part about it is so they have these royalty free characters and stages created around it. I would say it'd sort of be like, this will sound really bad. I said, Baby's First Smash is the best way I can kind of put it, because it is very much like it's not hard to understand, right? And you can have fun, and the characters are unassuming, and you sort of all feel like you could potentially win, if that makes sense. Yeah, and so I think it's in a much more, it's not like a super violent game. The objective is to hit them and they go off stage and stuff like that. But I just had a really great time with it. It was a lot of fun. It really felt like something I could say, hey, it's a party game. Hey, do you want to play? And everyone's like, I don't want to play Smash. Do you want to play this though? And they'll be like, oh yeah, okay. Because I think it feels like everyone's level, if that makes sense. There's no like weird, crazy ultimate. There's no state. There's on the stages. They didn't show me at least any items like here's the Smash ball, and everyone dies, right? So very approachable, really cool, small team. They've officially been working hard on it for 13 months, but they've sort of been prior to that meandering it for about 3 years. So I thought that was really cool, and that's definitely going to be coming to Switch soon as well. And the other one that really there's two other ones that caught my eye. We'll talk about them in other shows, but Batsu, which became it was sort of like Fall Guys meets a survival party game plus Rocket League. I put a little video up on our Twitter account that you can take a look at. Ton of fun, and I think that'll be great. But the challenge I have with these games is when you're in the PAX environment or any of these con environments. Hey, it's the three of us. We're on a team. We're playing this. There's three other people over there. We're playing them, and we're yelling at each other and having fun. And you're like, this is such a great game. And then the reality of it is that like when you finally get the code and you're at home, you're like, it's just me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm at home by myself. My kids don't want to play it, or there's nobody online. Like it loses some of that that sparkle.
With 65 people 2 years ago in New York, that was amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Doing it at home is like.
You're like, it's
not the same.
It's not great.
Not the same.
So there is this sort of interesting thing that I've been seeing as you go through, and I think that. So this is sort of the 30,000 foot view of PAX, which is like a lot of these games are like multiplayer party game, lots of fun, and you're using that energy, and there's a sparkle to it. Mm-hmm. But once you sort of like remove that sparkle, you're like, oh, I don't know if that's it's a very specific situation to play that. Whereas another game where I played which was Constance, which was a 2D Metroidvania art style, hand-drawn art style, which was like beautiful and so much fun, and it was just a single player game, and I sat there and I could have played that thing for hours.
Right.
I was having such a fantastic time. We're gonna put some B-roll footage out on our socials as well with it, but it was a game that I was like, this is like Celeste meets Metroid meets some Prince of Persia Lost Crown functionality, has some like homages to Splatoon in it in some different ways with the way they use paint and colors.
Nice.
It was just so cool, but it was a great example of like a really good single player game that you get sucked into.
That you're like calling. That's going to be what you want to jump in.
100%. Like I'm like, how do I like all these games I played are amazing.
Yeah.
But like, which one would I want to be playing like on a flight home?
Yeah.
That one.
Very good.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not playing these other ones, right?
Yeah.
Probably. So, I'm just kind of curious about what are your guys' thoughts? This is day one of PAX. Observations, thoughts, other things that like you kind of you discovered or went through.
To be honest, I think I've gotten my PAX fill already.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the fact that we have the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering thing, I would probably just stay in the hotel.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
My legs are killing me, and it was so nice to get some pain meds in
for dinner.
Yeah, you just ate pain meds for dinner.
I'm ordering my pain meds for dinner.
I average 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day. I've got 15,000 today.
Yeah, there was a point where I think I turned to Tim. I was like, I think we might have just killed Jesse. There's a very good possibility we killed Jesse.
And there was lots of rain today.
Yeah, there was lots of rain.
And we did weird. Yeah. That was not fun.
I think one of the things that I thought was really just like my own personal, like really cool moments. Conferences like this or conventions like this, so many people come together. Right. And I think when we sit at home and we podcast for 10 years by ourselves and like we click a Zoom call, we have a conversation, we end the Zoom call, maybe some discourse in the back end with like conversations over Twitter, something like that. You don't get to connect with people sometimes in some of those ways. And I think I said to you, like, or both of you, that like I ran into 3 to 4 different people who have been on our podcast just today And it was like, man, awesome. Like, we had a conversation with Kit and Krista, obviously from the Kit and Krista podcast. That was fantastic. Ran into Alex Van Aken from Game Informer currently, and he's been on our podcast before. Steven, and I don't remember Steven's last name, from Engaged Family Gaming, had a conversation with him. Walked past Steve Saylor, right? Blind Gamer. Just people that sort of like are in your sphere of influence that you connect with or know or have seen.
Alex
Sorry.
Alex from the Captain.
From
Controllers
Captain.
thing.
Captain Controllers, right? Alex, for sure. Had a connection with him today as well, briefly. Just a lot of that, and then it was fantastic. We had Vic and Johnny, Hambo and Johnny show up and hang out with us as well. And I thought, man, that was fantastic.
That was awesome.
Yeah, just to kind of like, again,
get their what they got to see. Like I said, like Vic saw the Just Shapes and Beats. And he was talking about that with us earlier. And then Hambo and Johnny got to go to the Elden Ring thing, and they only pick one person.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He was the one who was able to demo.
Yeah. He got to play with the developers on the new Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So.
And then they came for dinner with us, right? And we kind of hung around for a bit. And I just sort of like love that. We jump on like I said, on Zoom call for an hour, and like it can feel very isolating. We talk about like community and connections, and it was just great to like just spend some time with people and just kind of be in that moment. And even just right now, spending time with you guys, having this conversation and just getting to nerd out, right? Nintendo Dads was built on the idea of like, I don't have friends to nerd out about video games about. Cool. Now we're sitting in Boston in a hotel room, literally having a conversation after spending, almost 12 hours on a video game floor, experimenting and trying brand new things. That was sort of the reason and how we got here. So it's sort of a very full circle moment 10 years later as well. So. Yeah.
Marty's definitely missed in all this, but it's definitely cool that, we got at least the three of us to be here to do this.
Yeah.
Once in a.
And your family came.
Yeah. And that's also a blessing to be able to get my, two of my three kids to come as well.
Yeah.
But the two that are living at home, they got to come, and it worked out for them to come and experience this type of thing. Not only doing a PAX show, but being in Boston and experience, like we just did the subway, type thing. And and they're just like, this is like a movie.
I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's a lot of fun. And we had a blast today. And towards the end, when we got all of our stuff out of the way that we wanted to do, was like, hey, is there something you want to see? So we're trying to make sure that, my daughter Sophie got to go to something she wanted to see or catch up on, and Sammy got to do things. His thing was great though. It was like towards the end, he was like, hey, I want a picture with that person with that cool costume.
That's awesome.
And it was like, okay. So I went and chased somebody down. I was like, hey, my son wants to get the picture with you. And so we did that with a few people, and we got a few pictures. And then we also did a couple of the booths that had picture opportunities.
Like the photo ops moments.
So we did like the Final Fantasy one. We did the Baldur's Gate 3 one, and then we did, I think, Legion Go had some sort of setup we did. That we took a picture of him on, and he was just having a blast with the pictures. He was wanting to do more, and we was like, we got to go meet up for dinner. So we got to go. There's so much there, right? Like you, like whatever sort of you want your PAX to be, right? You can find that, right? Well, that was one of the things too. I was thinking about was. And I think we've observed this in the gaming industry, probably why there was some layoffs. But there's so much video games. There's so much that's available that, to me, this was a great example of all of that in one room, and I didn't get to see all of it. Just like I can't play all of it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's that's such an interesting point. Like even from our perspective of covering it, right? Like we have bookings. Like let's full disclosure, we get sent a schwack ton of emails over the last 6 weeks, which are like, hey, this is the game we have at PAX. This is what it is. We'd love for you to come play it.
And since you registered with the Nintendo NES Gmail,
Yeah.
and I get a copy of every one of those.
Yeah, you got a lot of
I
email.
basically got every email twice. One
Yeah.
for me, one for you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I listen, my intent was good, all right?
Right.
But that's such a great example of like, so we have bookings and so an email comes in and it has to draw our attention,
Mm-hmm.
has to probably be something that we're interested in, and likely for our audience perspective should probably be on Nintendo, right? So that narrows down our list. But so we've got our bookings, we do those things, then you walk on the show floor and you do like you literally will come up and if there is any judging a book by its cover, that is exactly what we're doing in 15 seconds.
Yep.
What does that sort of look
Up and
like?
down the aisles. We didn't even get down all.
Yeah,
the
does that
aisles
game sort of interest me? What does that
Yeah.
look like? Or how many people are in line?
Right.
What's the queue? Let me see some screenshots. Not interested. Moving on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so it's like that split,
Right.
and you lean towards or go towards the things
Yeah.
that you think you will like the most,
Right.
right? So there is a absolute cornucopia of games that we did not cover or chat about because it's not on our radar.
A lot of the booths are there just to sell their whatever they're selling.
Yeah.
And one of the booths, I forget what the name was, basically is a retro gaming shop. Like they had like a lot of NES games, N64 games.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
I want to look through this, but there's so many people in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, we had to do the same. There was a lot of people there today, and that was the other issue, I think, in some cases.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like if you are a person who is afraid of crowds,
Yeah,
this is not where you should be going.
yeah,
Right.
Or
I
stimulated.
was worried, but I was going to freak out. I did have to take myself off the floor. There were plenty of places where I could calm down, but I didn't get to the point where I felt like a panic attack was coming.
Yeah.
Like in my Orlando trip last month.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts as we wrap this up, folks?
I'm looking forward to closing out. I mean, I know it goes through Sunday, but our last day will be Saturday.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to capturing whatever we missed today.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're not beating ourselves up for not being able to see everything. We want to make sure we do see the things we wanted to see. Especially, I think our one thing we're looking forward to is that Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy theater thing that's going to be live streaming. So if this doesn't go out before that, it would be out there.
Yeah,
you'd be able to rewatch it if necessary. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is sort of the reality that you cannot do and cannot see everything at PAX, and I or any video game convention really.
Right.
So you need to be kind of picky and choosy, and I think that's
pacing.
And pacing.
Yeah.
Right. Like we could have just burned ourselves out today, and I think to your point, Jesse, you're like, listen, when that magic is done, I'm done, right? And so and you can feel that, right? So, folks, that has sort of been our day 1 45-minute bonus episode debrief. Big thanks, guys, to you. Thank you for supporting Nintendo Dads. It has allowed for us to do this, to share this opportunity with you, get to connect with fans, get to connect with other content creators, and just have an absolute blast. So thank you for your continued support. Hopefully you enjoyed this little bonus episode. We'll have another one tomorrow. We'll see what shape Jesse is in. If he's just a puddle at this point, we don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching Nintendo Dads. Take care. Bye-bye.
Did I hit the stop button?
Check you later.
Did I hit the stop button?